Mary's special gift. Jesus and his disciples, along with many other people, were in Jerusalem for the Passover feast. This was a special feast that took place once a year to remember the wonderful things God had done for the Israelites. Bethany was a town near Jerusalem. Jesus and his disciples had been there many times and had made friends with several people in Bethany. They were there at the home of a man named Simon, having their evening meal. As they were eating, a woman walked into the room. Her name was Mary. Jesus and his disciples knew Mary. They often stayed with Mary, her brother Lazarus, and their sister Martha when they came to town. When Mary walked into the room, she was carrying a small alabaster box. This box was made of stone and was filled with very expensive perfume. It was so expensive that someone would have to work a whole year to have enough money to buy it. Mary carried her box over to Jesus. Then she broke it and poured the perfume on Jesus' head. The disciples thought that this was a very strange thing for her to do. They thought she was wasting the expensive perfume. They didn't understand why Jesus was letting her be wasteful. They started to grumble and complain. One of the disciples even said it would have been better for her to let them sell the perfume so they could give the money to the poor. They could have helped a lot of poor people with that money, but instead, she was just pouring it out. Jesus told the disciples not to talk bad about Mary. Jesus knew Mary was giving the very best thing she had to worship him. He told the disciples that they would always be able to take care of the poor, but he would not always be there with them. This woman wanted to worship Jesus with gifts while he was there. What Mary was doing was very important. Jesus was about to die. He had been telling people this for a while, but the disciples didn't understand what he was saying. Mary was helping to prepare his body for when he would give his life and die for all people. Jesus told his disciples that Mary would always be remembered for her kindness that day. The disciples didn't understand all of what Jesus was talking about, but they obeyed him and stopped grumbling about the woman. All but one disciple named Judas Iscariot. Judas stayed upset about the perfume. He was the disciple who took care of their money. Money was very important to him, so thinking someone was wasting money made him angry, and Jesus saying it was okay also made him angry. Judas was confused. Then Judas realized that Jesus wasn't going to be a powerful ruler like a king on earth. He realized that Jesus was going to be powerful in heaven. Judas thought being on Jesus' side would make him rich and powerful, so when he started to understand what Jesus was saying, he changed his mind about wanting to be Jesus' helper at all. In fact, he decided to turn against Jesus. Judas decided to have a secret meeting with the members of the Sanhedrin. This was a group of chief priests and scribes who wanted to kill Jesus because they were jealous of how much other people loved him. They were planning to arrest him, but they were going to wait until after the Passover feast. They thought there were too many people visiting Jerusalem for the feast who might try to help Jesus. Judas went to them and asked them what they would give him if he told them where Jesus was. He told them that he would wait until Jesus was alone and not in a crowd of people, and then he would take them to him so they could arrest him. The members of the Sanhedrin told Judas they would give him 30 pieces of silver if he helped them. Judas agreed, and then they started to talk about their evil plan.
Okay, guys, it's time for our first letter of the day. Our first letter is the letter W. The letter W makes the w sound. We have our capital W and we have our lowercase w. They look a whole lot alike, don't they? Our capital W just goes all the way to the sky, and our lowercase w just goes to the fence. That's the only difference. Let's practice making our W's, our capital and our lowercase. We're going to start at the sky, go to the ground, back to the sky, back to the ground, back to the sky, and that's our big W. Our little W starts at the fence, and it goes down to the ground, back to the fence, down to the ground, back to the fence. And that's it. That's how you make the big W, the capital W, and the lowercase w. We're going to practice them again. We're going to make our big W's over here. We're going to start at the top line and go to the bottom. Back to the top, down to the bottom, back to the top. And that's how we make a capital W. One more time. From the top to the bottom, to the top, to the bottom, to the top. Now let's try to make our lowercase w. It's exactly the same, but it's smaller. We're going to start at our fence line. We're going to start at the dotted line right here. Down to the bottom, up to the fence. Down to the bottom, up to the fence. One more time. Start at the fence. Down, up, down, up. There we go. And our extra practice word is the word woman. We learned about a woman in our story who brought her alabaster box to Jesus. Woman starts with a W. Woman. So we're going to use a lowercase w. Start at the fence, down to the ground, back to the fence, down to the ground, back to the fence. That's our first letter in the word woman. Our next letter is the letter O. We're going to make a circle under the fence. O. The next letter is the letter M. The lowercase letter M starts at the fence and it goes down to the ground for a straight line. And then we're going to make a hump. The hump is going to start almost at the fence, go up and touch the fence, down to the ground. Then we're going to do another one, up to the fence and down to the ground. Two humps makes an M. Okay, now our next letter is the letter A. We're going to make a circle under the fence. And then we're going to make a stick from the fence to the ground. The last letter in the word woman is the letter N. It looks a lot like an M, but it only has one hump. So we're going to start at the fence, go down to the ground, and then come back up here and make a hump. Touch the fence, touch the ground. And that's how we spell the word woman. Good job, guys. Okay, guys, it's time for activity number 1. Let me read the directions. The perfume that Mary brought was very expensive, which means it cost a lot of money. Look at the pictures below and circle the item in each picture that you think might be the most expensive. Oh, that's a big word. Okay, here we go. Let's look at these pictures and see what we have. We've got to pick the thing that we think costs the most money. Okay, in this picture we have a TV and we have a pencil. Which one of those do you think cost the most money? I know that TVs are very expensive. If we broke a TV, we would probably get in big trouble. More trouble than if we broke a pencil, that's for sure, because TVs cost a lot of money. Okay, now let's look down here at these pictures. We have an ice cream cone and a refrigerator. Which one of those do you think costs the most money? Let's see. What do you think, ice cream cone or refrigerator? I think refrigerators cost more money than ice cream cones, so I'm gonna circle refrigerator. Okay, now we're gonna go over here to this one. We have a ring and we have an apple. Which one of those do you think costs the most money? This ring is very small. It's smaller than the apple, but I think the ring costs more money than the apple. If I lost a ring, I would be very, very, very sad. I would just be a little bit sad if I lost an apple, because I could go get another one, but you can't just get another ring because they cost a lot of money. You'd have to save up a long time. Okay, now let's go down here to the bottom. We've got a car and a pillow. Which one of those do you think costs the most money? The car costs the most money. There we go. We'll circle the car. All right. Very good job, guys. Okay, now we're ready for our second letter of the day. Our second letter is the letter M. We have our capital M and our lowercase m. M makes the sound We have our capital M that goes all the way to the sky and then down to the ground and back to the sky and down to the ground. Our lowercase m looks a little bit different. It's not pointy at the top like this is. It has the humps at the top. But it only goes to the fence. So it's shorter and not as pointy at the top. Let's see if we can make some letter M's. Okay, our first one's gonna start at the ground and go to the sky. Down to the ground, back to the sky. Down to the ground. And that's your capital letter M. Now to make your lowercase letter m, we're gonna start at the fence, down to the ground, and then we're gonna do a hump, which starts almost at the fence, and it goes up to touch the fence, and then down to the ground. And then back up here, and we're gonna go up and touch the fence, and come down to the ground. 2 humps makes an M, there we go. Now let's practice some more over here where we don't have the fence picture. We're gonna start on the bottom line, up to the top, down to the bottom, up to the top, down to the bottom. That is our capital letter M. Let's do one more. On the bottom, to the top, to the bottom, to the top, to the bottom. There we go, another capital M. Let's practice our lowercase m. Now remember, it's gonna start on this dotted line just like we started on our fence. Start at the dotted line, go down to the ground, and then we're gonna come almost back to the dotted line and we're gonna make a hump. That touches the dotted line and then down to the ground. And then we're gonna come back up here and we're gonna start almost to the dotted line and make another hump. There we go, let's try another one. Start at the fence, down to the ground. Almost to the fence, touch the fence, down to the ground. One more hump, touch the fence, down to the ground. And that's how you make the letter M. Our extra practice word for the letter M is going to be the word Mary. We learned about Mary when she brought her alabaster box to Jesus. We're going to write Mary, and because Mary is a name, we have to use a capital letter. So we're going to start down here with a capital letter M. We're going to start on the bottom, up to the top, down to the ground, up to the top, down to the ground. The next letter in the word Mary is a little letter A. So we're going to make a circle under the fence and then a stick from the fence to the ground. The next letter is the little letter R. It starts at the fence and goes to the ground. And then we are going to do a little hump, but it's not going to go to the ground. We're going to start right here. We're going to touch the fence and come down just a little bit. The last letter in the word Mary is the little letter Y. It starts at the fence and it goes a slant ways to the ground. And then we go back to the fence and we go slant ways the other way and we get to the ground and we keep going. That is how you spell the name Mary. Good job, guys. Okay, now it's time for our math activity. Let me read the directions. Judas agreed to betray Jesus if the high priest would give him 30 pieces of silver. Count by tens to see how many items are in each group. Circle the groups that have 30 items. Okay, we're looking for 30 because 30 was how much they were going to pay Judas to betray Jesus. Okay, here we go. We've got a lot of stuff here. There are a lot of pictures on this page. So instead of counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, we're going to count by tens. So what that means, we're only going to count the ones right here. So if we counted this way, this one would be number 10. Let's count the next row. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So this one would be 10, and then this one would be 20, and then this one would be 30. So if we're counting by tens, we're not counting all of these things. We're just counting the last ones in each row. Okay, so it goes 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. That was a very fast way to get from 0 to 100 by counting by tens. So we're going to count by tens and see if we can get to 30. And if we get to 30, we're going to circle it. Okay, here we go. We're going to count our roses, counting by tens. 10, 20, 30. 30 is our number we were looking for, so we get to circle the roses. Okay, now we're gonna go over here and count the butterflies. Okay, we're gonna count by tens again. 10, 20. We didn't get to 30. We only had 2 rows with 10 in it, so we didn't get all the way to 30 on that one. Okay, now let's count the bananas. 10, 20, 30. We did get to 30 on this one, so we will circle the bananas. Okay, now it's time to count the ants. Each row has 10 in them, so we can count by 10 to see how many ants we have. 10, 20. That is not 30 ants. That only went to 20. But we were able to circle our flowers and our bananas. Okay, now we're going to look down here at our memory verse. This is the verse that's in the real Bible. Okay, it says, "And there came unto him a woman having an alabaster box." Matthew 26:7. Wow, we remember that from our story. The lady that came in with the box, this is what it says in the real Bible. If we were to look in our real Bible, we would find these exact words. Okay, now we're gonna look at our verse and we're gonna look for our big letter M or our little letter M. That's what we're gonna look for in this verse. Okay, let's see. We have to look very carefully. And there came. I see a little letter M in this word. Did you see a letter M in this word? The letter M. And there came unto him. Oh, I think I see another letter M. Did you find it? Here it is. And there came unto him a woman. Oh, there's another M in that word. Did you find it? Is it this one? No. That's a W. Is it this one? It is. That's the little letter M. Okay. And there came unto him a woman having an alabaster box. Matthew. Oh, I see an M in that one. Do you see it? It's the capital letter M. There it is. And there came unto him a woman having an alabaster box. Matthew 26:7. Good job, guys.
Okay, guys, it's time for our big word of the day. Today's big word is expensive. What does expensive mean? The word expensive means cost a lot of money. Mary's perfume cost a lot of money. It was very expensive.
Okay, it's time for our last letter of the day. Our last letter is the letter I. I is a vowel, so it can make 2 different sounds. It can make the sound I, like in ice cream, and it can make the sound I, like in itchy. So we have I and I. It makes 2 different sounds. Here we have our capital letter I, and then we have our lowercase letter I. They do not look the same at all, do they? Okay, we're gonna practice. We're gonna practice our letter I. We're gonna start at the sky and go to the ground. Then we're gonna go back to the sky and we're gonna cross over the top. Then we're gonna go to the ground and cross over the bottom. And that is how you make the capital letter I. Next, we're gonna make the lowercase letter I. We're gonna start at the fence and go down to the ground. And then we need to put our dot in there. Our dot is not on the fence and it's not in the sky. It's in the middle where the clouds are. So we're gonna put it right in the middle. And that is how you make the lowercase letter I. Okay, now we're gonna come over here. We're gonna practice without the fence. Let's make our capital letter I. Start at the top and go to the bottom. And then we're gonna go back to the top and cross over. And then we're gonna go to the bottom and cross over. That's our capital letter I. Let's make another one. Start at the sky and go to the ground. And then we're gonna cross over at the sky and we're gonna cross over at the ground. Great job. Okay, now let's practice our lowercase letter I. Now it doesn't start at the sky, it starts in the middle. It starts on the dotted line at the fence. So we're gonna start at the fence and go down. And then dot at the clouds. Let's do another one. Start at the fence, down to the ground, and dot at the clouds. Okay, our extra practice word for the letter I is Iscariot. That's a word you probably haven't heard of before. We learned about Judas in our story and how he was going to betray Jesus. Judas's name was Judas Iscariot, and Iscariot starts with the letter I. So we're going to write this long name here on the bottom line down here. And because it's a name, it has to start with a capital, so we're going to make a capital letter I. Start at the top, down to the ground. Then we're going to cross over at the top and cross over at the bottom. Okay, the next letter in the word Iscariot is the letter S. It's going to stay under the fence. It's a tricky one. We're going to start right here and we're going to make a snake. There we go. There's our letter S. The next letter is the letter C. It starts just under the fence and then goes up to touch the fence, curves around, and comes up just a little bit. The next letter is the little letter A. The little letter A is a circle under the fence and a stick. The next letter is the letter R. A lowercase r is going to start at the fence and go down to the ground. And then we're going to do a hump, but it's not going to the ground. It's just going to be a little hump like that. The next letter is the little letter I. Just like this word has two I's, a big I and a little I, a capital I and a lowercase I. But this one's going to be the lowercase I. So we're going to start at the fence, go down to the ground, and dot. The next letter is the little letter O, a circle under the fence. And the last letter in the name Iscariot is the letter T. We're going to start at the clouds, go down to the ground, and then cross on the fence. There we go. We spelled Iscariot. Good job, guys.
Okay, now it's time for our Guess Who game. I'm going to give you some clues, and you see if you can guess who I'm talking about. The first clue is, I was at the meal at Simon's house. The next clue, I saw a woman pour perfume on Jesus' head. I thought it was a waste of money that could have been used for the poor. I decided to betray Jesus. Who am I? Who do you think that is? Who am I talking about? If you guessed Judas, you are correct. You were being a great listener. Good job.
Okay, now it's time for our drawing activity. Let me read the directions. Let's see what we're drawing today. Mary brought the perfume and poured it over Jesus' head while he was eating. In the space below, draw a picture of Jesus with oil being poured on his head. Oh, that is a very hard thing to do. Oh, goodness. Let me see if I can draw Jesus. Let me see. I'm going to draw curly hair because in my stories, I give Jesus curly hair. And then I'm going to draw his beard. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Bloop, 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 bloop. Bloop, bloop, bloop. And his hair going across here. Then we'll put a nose in here and an eye and an eye. We'll draw a smile. That can be Jesus. We'll give him a neck and a shoulders. Let's see. There we go. That can be Jesus. Now we have to draw oil being poured on his head. Okay, she had a box and she broke it. So we'll make a broken box up here. And then out of that box was coming some oil. Bloop, 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 bloop. There we go. That is oil being poured on Jesus' head. What do you think? Let's see if we could draw a stick man, because that's kind of hard to do. Let's draw a stick man. We'll draw Jesus looking like a stick man. There we go. That can be Jesus. And then we can draw oil being poured on his head. Whoop, we got to draw the box. Okay, there we go. That can be Jesus with oil being poured on his head. I think that's pretty silly.
Well, guys, that's the end of our lesson today, our lesson of Mary's special gift. We talked about a lot of things today. We talked about the letters W, M, and I. We talked about expensive things. We talked about how to count by tens, but most importantly, we talked about how to give gifts to Jesus. Mary gave a very special gift to Jesus, and other people didn't understand why she was giving it, but she gave it anyway. That's what we need to do. We need to always give Jesus our best, even if it doesn't make sense to other people. We need to always show Jesus how much we love him by giving him our time and our talents and our love. Until next time, Jolly loves you.